All right, Brad and Moose here reporting live from Montana Garage. Obviously, it's not live when you see it, but you know the deal. I came out the other day. Hopefully, you saw the last video where I painted this bad boy, and the shop was kind of a disaster after that. So I spent a little time yesterday, day before, cleaning everything up, sweeping everything up, getting rid of some of the overspray. You can see I have a black floor now. That's all right, I'm not too worried about it. If you're worried about that, you might want to mask your floor before you paint this stuff, like I didn't do. I got my paint booth walls rolled up. I used like a piece of, couple pieces obviously on that side. I guess actually a couple pieces on this side too. 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Stapled the plastic to that, and then with some help from my son, I was able to roll them up. So hopefully it worked decently. It wasn't too big of a pain to roll them up. So now I just got them tied up with some rope. So hopefully I can just kind of raise and lower those as needed. So that's kind of nice to have that option. Try to keep the heat in this side. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing now. So I don't know why I'm telling you folks, because I'm not doing nothing. I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I got a little bit of stuff to do. I already realized a couple things about the frame that I wish I would have done a little differently. Number one, I got new motor or engine mounts for it, and these, they're like the 3/4 forward mounts. I don't know which side this one is. Maybe, yeah, I think this one goes right here like this. So you're upside down there, but you grind those rivets off and drill new holes there and either bolt or weld them on. I was probably going to weld them on, but now I got all that fresh paint. I sure wish I would have just put these on. I kind of thought about it at one point, and then I was like, well, I want to wait till I guess they're designed for it. They should fit, but I would have liked to have kind of like mocked the engine up in there and made sure it's going to work. But I'm sure there's going to be other things I'm going to have to take the grinder to the frame for, so it'll just be, it is what it is. I will grind those rivet heads off. Hopefully I won't scratch the world out of everything, but yeah, so these two on each side got to get ground off and punched out of there. And then, like I said, they're designed to be bolted on there, and they drill a couple more holes up here. So I kind of wish I would have done it before I painted the frame, but oh well. And then the other thing I wish I would have been smart enough to do while I was painting is I got my new leaf springs and shackles and stuff over here. So that's kind of what I'm ready to do, is start putting that stuff on, but obviously that needs painted. So I think today I'm going to dig that stuff out of there and get it all cleaned up. Maybe tomorrow, if I have time, I'll mix up a small batch of this primer and squirt that little bit of stuff so I can start putting the CalTracs rear end on. Rear suspension. The other thing I have to do is the rear end is piled over here. I got to dig it out. I still have to take the stock spring perches off and mount the new ones on, which will be a little bit further inboard because we did the pocket kit. So I got to figure all that out. I don't think I'm going to paint this at all for now, because I'm using lowering springs, and I don't know, I've heard that that's could change my pinion angle a little bit. So I think I'm just going to kind of either tack or just clamp the new spring perches on for now. I won't paint the rear end or paint that stuff until I get the, all the CalTracs suspension in, and then the transmission and engine and everything in, and then I'll have, the angle that I need to set it at. Then I can set the angle, tack it, take it back out, weld those perches on solid, and then paint it before I put it back in. So that's kind of my plan there. I know I should go with a different rear end. This is just a stock. I think it's actually out of a 57 Chevy because it has a drain plug on the back of it. It's 411 posi. It's what I had in the car before with the same engine, and I never broke it. But before, all it did was spin the tires and wheel hop. Now it's probably going to hook because of the Calvert suspension. So I'm probably going to destroy that rear end, but just not in the budget to do anything else right now. So we'll put it in there and deal with the new one if and when it happens. So that's the plan for the rear end. So I dug out all my goodies, try to figure out what I got going on. Here's another piece of the CalTrac I later, just kind of comparing the blacks. They're a little different, so I guess it doesn't really matter if everything matches. But these springs, so these are mono-leaf springs, 2-inch drop, also from Calvert Racing, or CalTrac. Calvert Racing, I guess, is the company. And I don't know what they coat these with, but they got, I don't know, just like these big lumps. I don't know if you can see that if I turn it sideways, or And it's not super important, I guess, that they match. I've said time and time again that this isn't going to be a show car, so I don't know why I'm worried about this stuff, but suspension parts, I should just put it on, right? But I have to paint some brackets anyways, so I'm going to sand these lumps down and then just, these things, I don't know how they make them or whatnot, but look how rough they are. So it's not like I need to make these things real pretty. But means I'm going to be spraying some other stuff probably tomorrow. I'm just going to take the DA to these, try to kind of smooth that stuff off. I started over here. It's kind of dark back here. I don't know if you can see. So I'll smooth that up, and then I'll just go over the whole thing real quick with some 80 grit. And we'll squirt them tomorrow. And let's see, I gotta paint these brackets, leaf spring hangers, and dig the rear end out and take the spring pads off, and then I think we're ready to start putting this Calvert suspension on. Well, it's tomorrow. I spent last night, I got these scuffed up, took the big globs of, it's almost kind of like a rubbery stuff. I don't know what they coat those with. Hopefully the epoxy will stick on those. Obviously there's going to be some movement, and then I cleaned all those up. So let me find a way I gotta devise a way to hang these from the rafters up here somehow. Mix up just a touch of epoxy, and I'll get that stuff squirted so that tomorrow hopefully I can actually put stuff together. So there's my hanging parts to spray. Just got them hanging down from the, where's that guy right there? Kind of hanging from the garage door, and the garage door tracks. I'll throw something over the frame so I don't get a bunch of overspray on that, and I'll probably throw something down on the floor and move some of this stuff. And then as soon as I did this, it's nice and calm out, but the breeze kind of picked up, and there's a little bit of breeze coming in here, so I may want to close the door, so I'll just have to do something different with those. If I do that, I'm going to go mix up the primer, and then we'll see what it's like when I'm ready to spray. All right, it's a few hours later. I got the springs painted. I took them in the house here to stay warm. It's late and dark and starting to cool off, so they're inside staying warm overnight. Next project is to attack these spring pads or spring perches on the original rear end. So this is the original. I don't think it's probably not original, but it's a stock style rear end. I don't think 55 had a drain plug. I think that came in 57. I could be wrong, as always, but so anyways, this is the stock style. It's got a 411 posi, but it's probably not original to the car. I'm gonna go with this for now just because I don't have the budget to replace it with anything better. If and when it breaks, we'll deal with it then. So I gotta get these spring perches off here. Looks like we got 3 spot welds on each side, a little bit of a tack weld in each corner. I'm not sure the best way to attack this, but I'm gonna start by drilling out these spot welds a little bit, and I'll tack it with a grinder and a hammer, and we'll make some sparks and see what happens. Well, you're probably not going to believe this, and I almost don't believe it myself, but I think it's time to finally start putting this car back together. And I don't even know how long ago it was when I started taking it apart. 5 years, 6 years, probably longer. Let's see, my son is 17. I bet it's closer to 10 years. I should probably check my calendar there, but he was little. We used to drive the car around. This is what it looked like the last time I drove it. I never had it fixed up or nothing. It was primer gray, and my uncle had some spare paint laying around one time, so we put that little stripe on there. So for a few years it looked like that, and then we went out and did some donuts or something one day, and my son wanted to work on the car, and I didn't really have any money to buy parts I needed, so I was like, well, I kind of want to take it apart to do some more stuff, so it doesn't cost anything to take the car apart, so let's just start taking it apart. And like I say, he was a little guy, so I bet you it was close to 10 years ago. Time flies, I guess. So hopefully it's not going to take me 10 years to put it back together. But we are going to start with installing the rear suspension, the CalTracs. I came out last night and I took the spring perches off of my rear end. I guess they're on this side where they were. I didn't put the new ones on yet. I talked about that already, I think. But so I'm going to get started with these. First thing I got to do is this whole assembly has to fit up inside the spring pocket. Give you guys a peek of that spring pocket up there. They have to fit up there. This metal bushing, pardon the camera work, goes in there. I just took it out, but this assembly fits up in the spring pocket, but this bushing doesn't. It's a little fat, so I'm gonna have to take the grinder to one side of this so that it is even with the see how if I have it flush on that side, we're, I don't know, a heavy 16th, a little less than 1/8 proud over there. So I got to take the grinder and take that off of there, and then we'll jam it up in there and see if we can start putting this thing together. All right, a couple minutes of grinding with the old 80 grit flap disc on the cordless, and I got that steel bushing fitting in there, so we'll go up in the pocket kit that I showed you. The other thing with these CalTracs, let me take it back out of there because I got to grease it. These leaf springs came from Calvert Racing, so they're designed for the CalTracs, but that's a steel bushing rather than rubber bushing. So if you're doing these, you got to have a steel bushing in the front eye. So there's the first side installed in the front. I was going to put both of them in like this, and then slide the rear end in here and do the back, but I'm not going to be able to lift the spring up, you know, with the rear end there. So I'm just going to put both leaf springs on like this, and then I'll have my son help me with the rear end, and we'll just slide it through the little opening here and set it in place. So I'll hang the rear shackles on this one, and then we'll go to the other side and do the same thing over there. There's one leaf spring hung. Now I talked about this on an older video when I first bought this, or when I first got this CalTrac setup. The guys from Calvert Racing told me this spring would work in a pocket kit, but Earl Williams, the guy who makes the pocket kit, says it won't work. I think I probably should have took his advice, but I went with Calvert Racing telling me, yes, it's a 2-inch drop spring, so it's got a reverse eye in the back. And they said they've sold tons of these for spring pocket kits. But what bothers me is with no unsprung weight. Look, I got like, what, 2.5 inches right there? Maybe that's enough. Maybe somebody out there can tell me what they know about it. I'm gonna, I guess, just keep putting it together for now. They said it would work. Makes me a little nervous that it's that close right there. Worst comes to worst, I guess I have to get new springs, or a guy could notch this out a little deeper, but that's probably not great either, because then you're just gonna weaken that even more. So probably different springs if these don't work, which hopefully that's not gonna happen. So time will tell, or maybe you'll tell me. All right, so far so good. Same thing on that other side. Had to grind that little bushing, and then I hung the leaf spring. Time to go in and get some dinner, and then find some help to help me throw that wrestle that rear end in here. We'll be back for that. Well, looky there, it's practically a car again. Trey came out and helped me throw the rear end in there. I'll go grab the floor jack and point that pinion up a little bit, and then I'll throw these bottom brackets and U-bolts on to kind of cinch her all in place for temporary. And then, well, I guess I'll throw the the little CalTracs bar on as well. I don't have to, or it's all going to come back apart, but I mean, I'll put it all on there for now. Might even throw the shocks in, just so it looks like I did something. And then I guess I could probably put the tires back on then and have half of a roller. And then that's how the rear end is going to stay for probably quite a while, because I got to get the engine and everything in there before I can figure out the pinion angle, and that's a ways down the road. But at least I'll have this, and then just be, I still haven't ordered or decided what I'm going to order for up front, but I need to figure that out and get it coming, because I'm going to be dead in the water again, darn it. All right, so getting this stuff set up, the rear end's got a couple, there's like a hanger for the brake line, and then this little tab here. I'm not sure what that was, if there was some sort of rubber bumper on there that would hit the frame. I'm not sure what that tab is for. But on both sides, it interferes with the U-bolts now with the new position rear end, so I gotta grab the grinder and buzz all that stuff off. Would you look at that? We got wheels. 2 out of 4, better than nothing, right? Got this rear suspension all put together. I even put the shocks on just because, why not, right? I'm putting stuff together. I could get used to this putting stuff together thing. Nice clean parts, everything goes together how it's supposed to. And it looks like we're making some progress. All that stuff's got to come back out, you know, eventually, but I have to get it in there so I can figure out the pinion angle in 10 or 12 years whenever I get the rest of this done. Then I'll take that back out, weld up the perches and put it back in. But for now, I put it all together. Seems like it works pretty slick. Talked about this earlier. I'm a little concerned about the clearance right there, but I guess I bounced on this thing. It's pretty darn stiff. I can hardly even get it to move how it is. So, you know, we'll see how much, if that's going to be a problem or not. I went with these Calvert Racing 9-way adjustable shocks. So they got the little knob down there. I put that on the inside. I figured it'd be easier to access it. Either way, you're going to crawl under the car. So I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I figured it'd be easier to get it from that side than next to the spring over there. But they give you a little guide and tell you there's some, you know, I think it says 9-way adjustable. I think there's just 9 different settings. So you can experiment with that a little bit to get this CalTracs system to hook a little better. I've heard these things are pretty good for leaf spring cars, so I'm excited to maybe find out someday. But yeah, shocks pretty cool. I got the same shocks for the front. Obviously, I'm not ready to put those on yet, so they'll stay in their little box here for now. So this used to be the widest tire I could get on here. And speaking of tires, these tires don't look too bad, do they? I bet if we looked at the... It's too dark over here. Let's see if we can see anything on this side. I really don't see nothing too terrible, but I bought these tires in the summer of 1990 after I graduated from high school. Yeah, long time ago. And you can see, never got drove too much after that. And what little it did get drove, these things were spinning a lot. So, yeah, too bad. I'm sure they're all dry rotted. I can't really see too much, but obviously I'm getting new tires anyways. But this used to be the widest tire I could fit on here. For those of you that don't know about the tri-fives, the leaf spring used to be out here, outside of the frame rail. So that's what I did the spring pocket kit for. That moves that over, so now I got this much more real estate for rubber. And then, you know, we had to also move the inner wheel well in, so you can see my scar right here. That's how wide of a piece of sheet metal I welded in there to move that over. So now this inner tub basically sits right against the frame here. So, you know, we got a few more inches for rubber. So yeah, that'll be nice. And then if and when I break this rear end, obviously I'll have to, you know, I'll have to get a different backspace of wheel or whatever to get the rubber under there. I guess that's maybe another reason that I should try to just buy a rear end before I do it. Because I can say if I was going to get a different rear end, I could probably shorten the rear end a little bit. And then I wouldn't have to have so much backspacing on the wheel, and I could have a deeper dish wheel. Decisions. Anyways, we're going to have more rubber. That's the most important thing. Now, if I could just decide to do with this front end, I was going to reuse the stock A-arms and put new bushings in them. Started asking around and doing some research. Of course, most people are using the kind of more modern tubular A-arms. Just cost more money, but everybody says they ride a lot nicer, it drives a little better. This is just going to be an old beaten around town hot rod. I would like to maybe do like a drag week or Rocky Mountain Race Week or hot rod power tour or something someday. I'm planning on kind of building the Chevelle a little nicer for maybe like a power tour car, I guess. But this is gonna be more of a drag racer, so it'd be cool to do like drag week or something someday. So I guess I'd want it to drive decently, but I just got to figure out, where to get all the money or where to stop spending all the money. So decisions. I got to get something coming. Either got to get bushings coming or I got to get A-arms coming. But A-arms, springs, then do you do the coil springs, or the coilovers? I put the springs from this car in this car because those ones were chopped too much and it sat too low in the front and the headers were in the weeds dragging in the asphalt. So I got to get springs one way or another. So A-arms or bushings and springs, disc brake kit, pretty much everything. I just need everything. I need to get I could get some fuel lines started, start running some brake lines maybe. Some of that stuff that's before I throw the body back on the car, it'd be a little bit easier. So I got plenty to do. I just need to make some decisions and get some parts coming. How would you build the front end if this was your car? Stock stuff, new stuff, fancy stuff? It's my build obviously, but I like to get people's opinions because really I don't know what to do. I got, I think, one more day here in the shop. 2 more days. Well, the second day, I'm going to be doing other stuff. So really one more day here in the shop. And then I'm taking my son hunting for a week again. So hopefully tomorrow I'll make some decisions and get something ordered so I can, I'm going to be gone for about a week. So when I get back, maybe some parts will show up and I can continue working on this frame. If not, I do have work I can do on the body. There's a few more little places that need welded and then just cleaning up some surface rust and whatnot. Only problem is now I just made this frame a lot harder to move around, but I'm sure I can still move it around with some help because I kind of need to get it out of the way to work on the body. Always something. Montana Garage has stickers now, right? Did you see the live I did where I showed the world the stickers? At this point when I'm filming this, I haven't showed them to anybody yet. Well, I've showed them to a couple people, but I haven't really posted anything about them. I've posted that I have them and some blurry pictures, but I haven't showed anybody what they look like. And I'm still getting a ton of people requesting stickers, so that's cool. If you haven't seen them, you probably could go back and look in the live, or you could go over to Instagram, Montana Garage, and I'm sure I got some there. Or I do have 2 different designs, but I only have one out here in the shop tonight. There's one of them. It's the sedan delivery right there that's all covered up with my little logo I came up with. So for now, the stickers are just kind of promotional items. I've had a lot of people ask for them, but I didn't make enough. Probably I need to get some more ordered already. But eventually, maybe someday, if enough people are interested, I'll start selling some. But for now, they're just kind of giveaways. And unfortunately, I can't give them to everybody at this point. But so what I'm going to do in this video is I'll give away 3 sticker packs to the first 3 people that go to the video description of this video. Click over to the video description. Tell me what the featured Amazon product is for this video. If you didn't know, I didn't really talk about anything in this video, so I'll have something in there. I always have, or usually have, a featured product over at Amazon. You can click a link and go over and buy that product. Or if you don't want that product, you can click the link to get to Amazon and then do your regular shopping. Anything you buy while you're over there, Montana Garage will get a little commission. So any of that commission is going to go right into this 55. So anything you guys do there helps us out. I appreciate it. But to get the stickers, you got to tell me what that link is and send me an email. My email address is also in the video description. First 3 people that do that, you got to send me your address, obviously. I'll send out a sticker pack heading your way soon. So yeah, that's it for this video, I think. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And we'll come back and hopefully be working on this 55 again real soon.